to the Diamond World series. We started this series specifically to help ACI students to improve their meditation and to start meditate regularly. I would like to rejoice that now with meditation timer, we tracked already more than 92 minutes of meditation in ACI website. So we're very happy that you joined us today for this class with Team Lowenhaupt. And today we continue studying meditations, and today it will be lion dance meditation. And I am happy to give the floor to Tim.
Just kidding. Hi. Thank you, Alana. All right. All right. All right. Good morning, everyone. It would be lovely to see all of your beautiful faces. There we go. I know when we meditate, we close our eyes, so it's okay. But I would like to see all of you. So I've been looking forward to this particular meditation. Hi, Sally. And see, if you turn on your camera, I might say hi to you too, if that's a motivation. So I've really been looking forward to this point in our series this year, because finally we've reached a point where we're meditating enough to be able to do this meditation. You know, when we put together this meditation challenge, you know, we had a couple goals in mind. And one of them was, let's get people meditating on a regular basis. You know, we spend so much time in all of our classes, you know, talking, right? Talking the Dharma, talking the principles, talking how to live our lives well. You know, we give principles, we give ideas how to handle difficult situations. You know, and at the end of the day, and I realized this with my own teacher, there was only so much blah, blah I could listen to before it became my responsibility to do the practice. You know, and listening to my teacher and listening to their guidance over the years, and it continues, right? It doesn't stop, of course. But at the end of the day, or the beginning of the day, you have to do it yourself. Like, you know, the teacher can't do it for you. Right, Kat? She may not have heard that line. The teacher can't do it for you. You have to. And so we put together this year-long meditation challenge to give you the tools that you would need from the beginning to deep meditation, to be able to have the insights, you know, to have the realizations that you need. Or let me say it differently, to have the realizations and insights that can truly help you. You know, we go for refuge in the people we think who can help us. Right? And it's not bad to go to refuge in some of those things, right? To go for refuge in your teacher, to go for refuge in the things that you know that will help you. but we have to flip it around and do it ourselves. We have to sit in meditation. We have to do those deep practices. We have to explore the nature of our mind and our body. Hi, Win. We have to do that ourselves, and we have to look at our own. One of my deep meditation teachers. I was struggling because the practice is, you say you want to do it every day, and you might go through periods of time where you do. But if we're really honest, there's periods of times when you don't. And I'll admit that there's periods of times when I'm not meditating. And I said, look, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I've had students ask me, Tim, I don't know what to do. You teach me new meditations like every week. Right, Laura? Every week I give you something new. I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. And the main point is you practice as many as you can, relaxed, explore one that you like. Because today one might feel really nice to you, and your body's able to settle. Your mind's able to uplift and become a bright, bushy-tailed, focused, right? Bright, bushy-tailed, and focused on one thing. And then tomorrow you're like, let's do it again. And you sit down, and literally it's the worst experience ever. You try to sit down and you're like, what the F is this? Yesterday was lovely. Today sucks. And you're like, what's going on? And my meditation teacher said, you have all the tools, Tim, now. Now you have to know when to pull them out of your belt, when to pull the lightsaber out, right? When to pull the screwdriver out, when to pull the sewing needle out, when to pull out just your breath. Today, we need to breathe. We need to breathe for a half an hour before we do anything, right? Or you might just have a song stuck in your head from a show you watched last week that you can't get out of your head. Literally, I've seen the show twice, and all night long I'm like singing the song. like literally every time I woke up last night, I was singing the song. I'm like, that's annoying. That's good meditation, right? But it's on the wrong object. So why are we here? Like, what are we trying to get to? We have to learn the nature of our own mind, the nature of the movements of our own unique karmic configuration. And as I said, your teacher can help guide that for you. What is it about you that's unique, right? And just because your friends are doing lion's dance meditation today, you may realize, well, actually, I need to go back to the 4 spaces that we learned previously. Or I might just have to go and I might have to breathe today. And then when you begin to understand you and the normal fluctuations and changes of you and the patterns of you, then you can start unraveling what you is. You are unique. So where does this meditation come from that we're going to talk about, and why is it Tim's favorite? Well, today's favorite. Okay. Hi, Teresa. So this all it goes back to a cave. This all started in a cave. All right. Ooh, that sounds mystical. Started in a cave. And it started with this guy named Asanga. and Asanga had a goal. And Asanga wanted to meet Maitreya, who we know is the future Buddha. And there's a whole biography, which we're not going to get into today, because we need to meditate, because Tim could talk for hours about this. Why? Because this is the book that I'm translating. Okay. So Asanga had a deep, deep desire to meet Maitreya, who we know is the future Buddha. And if some of you have taken some of the ACI courses, you may also know that it depends on the point of view whether he's a future Buddha or he already is a Buddha, masquerading as a Buddha that comes to the planet to be the future Buddha. And so Asanga wanted to meet him, and he did some deep practices to meet Maitreya. How long did Asanga meditate for? That's right, Teresa, 12 years. So I don't want to hear any whining from you if you can't meditate today. Okay. Don't whine. I mean, well, first of all, there's 171 people, 72 people here who aren't whining. So congratulations. Thank you. So, but what I'm saying is if you have a difficult day, just remember that Asanga meditated for 12 years in a cave to try to meet Maitreya. All right. And did he meet Maitreya in the cave? No, he didn't. Okay. So that sucks even more. He meditated for 12 years to try to meet Maitreya, tried to open his mind, tried to open his heart, and it didn't work. So finally, he gave up, dejected. And many of you may know this story. So he leaves the cave. And by the way, he leaves the cave several times in those 12 years and gets special messages. We can learn about that later. So he leaves the cave and he comes across a dog who's been run over by a cart, who's laying on the side of the road. Guts are mangled. And he's like, I got to save this dog. So he starts trying to put the guts back in. And he realizes that it's been so long that this is a disgusting story. So if you get weirded out by like body parts and blood and guts, like go get a coffee or something. No, don't get a coffee. I don't know. Go get a water. And he realized that he can't put them back in because flies had already landed on the intestines, and then they had already hatched, and so there's little worms, right? The little maggots, right? And he realized if he put them back in, he would be killing them, but if he doesn't put them back in, he'd be killing the dog. And so he has a moral conundrum, a moral problem. And so he's like, I got to take these little worms off first. So as he's reaching down to grab those worms, he realizes his hands are dry, right? And he would be smashing them if he picked them up. And he's like, well, I can't do that. So he was like, well, I need to save these worms. I need to save this dog. And his heart is opening more and more. Okay. And the more you do these practices, the more these things start happening to you. I saw a cute picture of a dog and a crab the other day, and the dog was just watching the crab, right? The crab was trying to kill or pinch the nose of the dog. And the dog was just like, no, you can relax, And I kind of thought that might have been Maitreya. Anyway, so in order to get these off, he decides, he's like, well, I'm going to use my tongue, right? So he bends down, and he's like, this is kind of disgusting, right? So he sticks out his tongue and he kind of goes, he gets lower and lower and lower to put the tongue on the worm. And as he's about to touch the gross insides with his tongue, all of a sudden his head hits the ground. And instead of seeing a dog, he sees feet. And he's like, that's like human feet. And he's like, well, that's weird. And so he looks up, and then there's Maitreya. And it's actually kind of a funny moment. And I translated these lines, and I'm going to read them to you. And he's kind of irritated. He's been trying for 12 years, leaves the cave, and all of a sudden he meets Maitreya. He's kind of irritated about this. And so he looks at Maitreya and he's like, oh, my one father, my protector. I sought you for thousands and thousands of days of fruitless effort. How could you, this majestic cloud filled with oceans of rain, refuse me, who is dying of thirst? Okay. He's dying to reach Maitreya, and he feels like Maitreya refused him. And then Maitreya was like, this is a loose translation. Maitreya is like, you idiot. just like if you don't put water on the seeds, and you will not have a harvest. No Buddha can come to you unless you have all the seeds necessary to see them. And it was his moment where he finally had an act of compassion, right? He had a compassion for all those living beings. He did all the practices, but he wasn't compassionate enough. And so Maitreya forgives him for being a little indignant, of course. And then they go off, and he goes to Maitreya's paradise. He learns all these cool things. One of which is the Abhisamaya Alankara, which is the book I'm translating. And in there, he teaches him this meditation called the lion's dance, the dance of the lion. And it's the meditation that Maitreya taught Asanga, which then Asanga had the deepest insights into reality because of this. He reached the path of seeing, the path where you see where everything comes from, where you completely understand how karma works, you completely understand how the mind works, you completely understand how emptiness works. All because he stuck out his tongue to remove maggots from a dying dog on the side of the street. Okay. And so this is the meditation he taught him. And I wish I had 3 hours to teach all of this to you, but we don't. So today we're going to start with the introduction to this meditation. The meditation has 5 parts. We're going to do parts 1 and 2 today. And then you're going to continue meditating over the next month on parts 1 and 2. And then for the rest of the year, we're going to give you parts 3, 4, and 5. All right. And so what this meditation trains you to do is it trains you to, because we're now meditating enough that it's possible to bring our minds into shamatha, to bring our minds into, to develop the capacity to focus on one object and one object only, and not be distracted by other objects. One thing, and stay there, excited, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. All right. And then the meditation opens up a space, that empty space that we did in the last meditations. It opens up that space where you could slide into to have the direct perception of emptiness, where you can have the perception of highest reality and understand You. Who are you? You aren't who you think you are. And when you understand that deeply, then you have a tremendous capacity to serve the world, to serve others, to take care of others, because you understand something so profound. And of course, you develop those things along the way, right? The compassion comes along the way. It's not like you are selfish and you don't do anything, and all of a sudden you see emptiness directly, and then you like, oh, now I got to serve the world. It's not like that. All right. But all those pieces come together. So that's what we're going to do. So for the next half hour or so, this is the meditation you're going to do for the next month. So get prepared. Find yourself seated comfortably. Begin to close your eyes or have a soft gaze. And bring to mind your motivation for doing this today. What is that highest version of yourself? Who is that highest version of yourself? And how will that version of you be able to serve others? How will that version of you open their hearts with wisdom and compassion to the needs and challenges that the world faces? Now finally come to your breath, noticing the sensations of the exhalations and inhalations. And this meditation will take us through an experience of various levels of concentration of the mind. So begin by listening to some sound in your room. Maybe it's the sound of the refrigerator or the air conditioning. Instead of being annoyed by the sounds, we're going to use the sounds in our meditation. Notice the quality of all those sounds outside of you and choose one to focus on. And now we're going to notice sounds and sensations inside the body. And we're going to try to notice the sound of our own heartbeat. And this might be a hard thing to notice, and sometimes can take weeks of deep retreat to be able to hear your own heartbeat. You may be able to. As an alternative, notice the feeling of your heartbeat. And now compare it to the sound that you were listening in the room. Your heartbeat is quieter. So you make a choice to focus there, on the more quiet, on the more subtle. And now you notice an even quieter place. You bring your mind inside your heart. And then compare it with the feeling or sound of the heartbeat from the outside. And you choose to go deeper. And you go inside your heart. And it's beating all around you. The sound of it is around you. You are inside. The feeling of movement is outside of you, and you are inside. And if being inside your heart is a little too visceral or a little too physical, you can imagine that your heart is a pulsating light. And each beat is light pulsating from the heart. And going out into the body like prana through your channels. And then you feel a desire to go deeper, more subtle. You're still in the heart. You look for a more subtle place to let go of. And so we let go of all of our emotional feelings. We let the emotional sphere drop away and drop into neutral. We're still within the heartbeat, but we let go of that, the emotional aspect of ourselves. And then we look to go deeper. And we realize that we can drop the sensations of the physical body. Any pleasure, good feeling, or noticing of the physical body. All of that drops away. Your mind is like a single point now. You are a single point. And then in all directions, it's like a flat, crystal clear lake that expands into infinite space in all directions. And you feel a sensation of being dropped in like a tiny pebble. And like ripples that come off when you drop a pebble in water, you become a ripple and you expand outwards in all directions. And expanding across all the physical infinite universe. See yourself expand across all space and time. Your mind has gone from being a single point to all points in the universe, continuing to expand farther and farther, unlimited. And then we feel there's an even subtler place to go. We drop all the physical aspect of the world and we become simply awareness. We lose all reference points. We just feel our consciousness expanding. Like a light from a sun that travels through the entire universe. The image of space drops. There are no edges. Your awareness stretches further and further. No physical form, simply invisible mind. And feel your mind as it gathers itself into the minds of every living creature in the entire universe. Then even this awareness becomes a distraction. And we decide to let go. And if we want more absolute silence, we have to drop all mental objects. So we purposely focus on nothing at all. You drop into infinite blackness with nothing more at all. And then you recognize that there's still even a quieter place to go. You let go of the effort that you make to let go of everything. The effort that it takes to release the object of nothing at all. You let go of that effort as well. With these sharp powers of concentration, something stirs inside of you. And you know that this is not enough. This will not help me free others. This will not help me free myself. And out of this nothingness appears your teacher. See them not as a picture, but see them alive. See them breathing. Feel the warmth of their body. Perhaps they have a beautiful, subtle fragrance. And because of your powers of concentration, you begin to understand how they are there. How do they have all those good qualities that I see in them? And deep within your heart, you see a luminous seed. Silver in color. And you see that seed crack open very slowly. And what you see inside that seed is you see a perfect picture of your teacher. And you see for the first time how that perfect picture arises out of your heart. And then overlays that body in front of you. Like a beautiful thin cloth that just layers itself on top of them. And becomes those good qualities. It becomes them. It becomes a single instant of them. And then you go back into your heart and you see another luminous seed. That seed opens into a transparent image of light of your teacher. And you see it again subtly cover that body in front of you. Putting all the parts together to create your teacher in this instant. And then you begin to wonder, how did that seed within me get there? What did I do to plant that seed? What did I do in the past that was similar to all the good qualities that I see in my teacher today? And so for the next few minutes, simply imagine, use your creativity. What could you have done in the past? Maybe it was in a past life. What story comes to your mind right now that planted the seeds that are ripening in your teacher, ripening as your teacher? And wherever you are, come back to seeing your teacher sitting in front of you. And in your heart, you see all of the seeds that you did plant, all the things you did for others that are creating your teacher right now. And then you look at your teacher and you say, "Teach me, please. Teach me to understand this perfectly. How seeds create the teacher and everything in your world." And they say to you, "Try to imagine me without your seeds. Try to imagine me not from anything that you did in the past. And there should be a feeling that arises that something's not right. That there is no teacher that doesn't come from what you did before. And they say, imagine me not coming from your prior deeds. And cancel all of that. Make it all go away. And then slide into that space. Hold your mind in that space of the teacher that's not there, who didn't come from your prior seeds. What's left? Then come back to your breath. Noticing the sensations in your body. Slowly feeling the body. And then noticing the outside sounds again. And take 3 long exhales. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and take a stretch. All right. So there's a long, long meditation. And that was the short version. So really quickly, there's so much to teach about this meditation. There's a depth to it that for me keeps getting richer and richer. The one of the primary points of it is each of those steps up until we get to our teacher is a deeper level of concentration. And right now, you're probably just learning how to get into that, how to, how to concentrate there, how to feel it. And your mind may have gone off on other tangents or thought of other things, and that's okay. But as your mind settles and as your concentration gets better and better, each of those levels can feel really nice. They can feel really good. And in fact, a lot of meditators get stuck there because it feels nice, because the body feels relaxed, the mind feels relaxed. Then you forget about the body, then you forget about the mind, and then you're just awareness, right? And you let go of these things that burden our concentration or burden our mind, and they feel good. But the warning that Maitreya gives us is don't stop there. They're good places to get to. They're great places to be. They can create an amazing platform for incredible meditation. But there's that last step, right? Or that last step, you realize this isn't going to serve others. This isn't going to free me and free others. It's not enough. Because if you get stuck in all of those, what's eventually going to happen? Those of you who just took my last class, oh no, oh geez, Louisa, that was so harsh. No, yes, no, maybe, but you eventually you will still have to go through the cycle of pain. You will still have to suffer. You will still have to die. And what Maitreya is saying is great, go there, get the concentration, get the meditation, and then do more. And that the last part of it, where you start working at the level of your karma and seeing the seeds ripen, then take a total trip into where those seeds came from. We didn't have a lot of time, but you could spend 15 minutes. You can spend a whole meditation on what seeds were planted in the past. And just think, am I imagining this? Is this real? And I would say your imagination is coming from seeds too. So your capacity to imagine a possible past life of what you did to create your teacher is also coming from a seed opening. Just like you imagine the seed opening, saw the luminous image of your teacher that overlaid like a gentle piece of sheer cloth, uniting all the parts in front of you to become your teacher. Your imagination of the seeds that you did plant is the same thing the seed is opening up. So that's the part I wanted to leave with. Think about that. So here's your meditation for the next month. You should, how many minutes we're doing right now? 40 some. We have 12 weeks left. 60 minus 12 is 48. Yeah, so we're somewhere in 47 minutes now. Okay. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, 44. I can't remember, something like that. 40, something like that. And so each week add 1 more minute, of course, like we're always doing. And this meditation is long, so you can easily fill that up. Take your time, be gentle with yourself. Sometimes, you may stay longer in the first 9 parts. You're going to have to listen to it again to get it. But you might spend longer on listening to your refrigerator, or you might spend longer on the ripple waves that go out and expand through the entire physical universe. You know, take your time, explore it. And don't forget to rejoice afterwards. You know, if you have a crappy day of meditation, you had a crappy day of meditation. It's just a seed happening. It's just another seed opening up. Like, oh, today's crappy concentration. All right. What did you do in the past to create crappy concentration today? Something like that. All right. Thank you so much for joining today. Have a nice crew of people here. Alona, do you have anything else to add?
Yes, I have to add something. Thanks everyone for joining. We had today 215 people online meditating together. It was great. Thank you. I wanted to add that all programs, all classes of ACI are possible only because of donations and support of our students. ACI is a non-profit organization. So please consider supporting us. Because of your support, this all is possible. We also constantly need your help and your help as a volunteer. So if you're not part of the team yet, please join us. We need help in design, in video editing, in pictures, in translations, in recording classes. We have work for everyone. Also, we have one more series, Bringing Wisdom to Life. We have 2 monthly series, Traveling to the Diamond World and Bringing Wisdom to Life. And in this month, we will have Venerable Somati teaching class, It's All in Details, for Bringing Wisdom to Life series. And we also almost very soon on the 6th of September to start Medicine Buddha pre-course with Venerable Sumati, or with Venerable Gyaltse and Venerable Sunam. All the links, everything, all announcements you can always find on ACI website. So join us. Thank you for joining us today. And have a nice day, evening, morning, whenever part of the world you are.
Thank you, Alona. Thank you all for joining. It's an inspiration that all of you want to meditate, and you're all here wanting to learn all these deep ideas. It's an inspiration to us, and this is what keeps us going. So the more you come to these classes, the more that we, the more we're inspired to keep teaching. And our goal really is that you can have these realizations yourself. And that's what we're trying to do. So thank you all very much for joining. And please turn on your microphones and say goodbye to everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
谢谢老师，拜拜。
谢谢老师，
Bye.
谢谢天使，
拜拜。
Thank
Good night.
you.
Bye.
谢谢老师，
谢谢老师，
Bye bye. Thank
晚
you.
安。
谢谢老师，
谢谢老师，晚安。
谢谢老师，晚安。
Hasta luego，拜拜，
谢谢老师，晚
晚
安。
安，拜拜，
拜拜，谢谢。
Thank you for all.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Tim.
До скорой встречи, да, спасибо.
Gracias.
See you.
Have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Gran día.
Yes.